Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Tony Viz, here with my post Impact recap. Like I said, overall, I thought the show was good. Good match. There were some good matches, good promos on there, and like I said, the good outweighed the not so good. So let's get right into it. The show started off with. Well, before I get into the show, let me just say that I read that because of next week, the 31st, the TNA will be going live on Spike at 8 o'clock. And they're no longer going to be scripting the guys' promos. So there are going to be some bullet points and that kind of stuff. And it's going to be kind of like the way it was in the old days. Not like WWE where everything is scripted. So down to the letter. So anyway, we start the show with Hulk Hogan in his office with the 4 contenders to the TNA World Title, or the 4 possible contenders. Hogan's going to pick one of them. Bully Ray, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Kurt Angle. For some strange reason, I don't know why, I thought the winners of the qualifiers last week were going to be in a 4-way match to see who would challenge Rude, but that didn't happen. It was the Hulk Hogan decision, brother. So Hogan was in his office with those 4 guys, and he's saying it with the format sheets, and he's saying it's like on open fight night there's going to be more changes than he thought. He hands copies of the formats to all 4 guys, and he talks about Bobby Roode becoming the longest TNA champion in history, and he says that at the start of the show, AJ had that title of being the longest running champion so far. So then Hogan says that all this momentum rather is pushing them into a fast forward situation, and that the current formats that they use right now don't work anymore. So then AJ, Angle, and Bully Ray all talk about their accomplishments and the titles they've held. AJ Styles says that he's been the longest reigning world champion in TNA, and Angle says it's like, hey, who beat you at Sacrifice, and who made you tap out, and they talk about that. Angle talks about winning the gold medal, and Bubba Ray mentions about like all the titles he's held. They're like, yeah, none of them were singles titles or whatever. And Hogan tells Bully Ray to convince him why he deserves a title match. And Bully Ray says, he's been around for 20 years, and that he's the most legit guy out of everyone in the room. And he's saying he can intimidate Hulk Hogan right now if he wanted to, but he won't. But he isn't going to because he has too much respect for him. So then Angle says he's not intimidated by Ray at all, and then Ray says that Angle has been intimidated by him before. So then AJ says he doesn't want Rude to become the longest reigning champion because he wants to still hold that record. So then Angle mentions, he mentioned that he beat AJ Styles' Sacrifice, made him tap out, whatever. And then as they're all bickering, Ray turns to Jeff Hardy, who's just sitting there not saying a word, and he's saying, Ray tells Jeff that his plans are working great. It's like he just sits back and doesn't say anything while they all bicker. And then Jeff says to let the fans decide who gets the title match or whatever. Okay. Then Hogan says, there is some good about Bobby Roode being the champ, but he's saying he still needs to be stopped. So he says that he knows all 4 guys can beat him. But he says that it's like in the years that Bully Ray has been a competitor, what have you, he's never held a singles title, this and that, or what have you. So then he eliminates Ray from the title hunt. And then as Ray walks out, he says that Eric Bischoff was right about the Hulkster. Like I said, when I first saw this, I wasn't really into it because I thought the whole thing was going to be a 4-way match with the winner getting a title shot, not having Hulk Hogan decide over the course of a few segments during the show who's going to get the title shot. So like I said, I don't know why they had the qualifying matches if this is what they were going to do in the first place. So that was that segment. Next segment was in the ring. Gail Kim and Madison Rayne come out. Gail Kim talks about how being her was so great. She mentions that she's that she's not just the current Knockout champion, but also the most dominant one in history. The same thing as what Bobby Roode is saying about being the most dominant champion in history. So you got the 2 heel champions doing what 2 heel champions, saying what 2 heel champions would say. So she said that Gail Kim says that she built the Knockouts division, which they did start when she was in TNA in her first run, and she became the first champion. And then she said, not only did she build them, not only did she build the Knockouts division, but she is the Knockouts division. And she says she's the most important woman in TNA. And then she says that she's got a problem with the Knockout tag titles being held by a guy. That, of course, the champion being ODB Eric Young. And while this is going on, Madison Rayne is checking herself out or whatever, and then Gail tells her it's not about the guy right now. And then she calls out Young and ODB. So they come out, we get the first match. So it's Eric Young and ODB versus Gail and Madison. Gail and Madison get the win. Gail pins ODB. ODB had Gail Kim set up for a fallaway slam. Well, Madison tripped ODB from outside the ring and held her legs down for Gail for allowing Gail Kim to get the pin. Okay match, like I said, there was some typical ODB Eric Young comedy silliness in it, but it was okay for what it was. Then we go to, they show Bobby Roode backstage, he's just walking into the dressing room or whatever with this worried look on his face about, who's Hogan going to make him defend the title against, and really break the record of being the longest reigning champion. Then we go to Hulk Hogan, and he's on the phone in his office, and he mentions that he's talking to the guy on the phone saying he made his first cut already, and then he asks the guy on the phone if he's still coming to the arena, and he says it's been way too long. So then we get to RVD. He comes out, and he said that he's been so focused on winning the world title that he forgot about settling some unfinished business. And which I had actually forgotten about this too, because they hadn't mentioned it in quite a while. They were referring to the Genesis pay-per-view in January when Gunner gave RVD a DDT on the concrete floor. So then Gunner came out, and we get Van Dam and Gunner. Match was good, but it was a little on the short side. RVD got the win. And Gunner brought a chair in. RVD used the Van Daminator, 5-star frog splash, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. So good but short match. Then we get to Devon comes out, and he mentions that how Hogan gave him the chance to defend the TV title every week on the show, and then he mentions that last week Hogan also gave him a chance to be the #1 contender for the world title by having him in the Battle Royal. Then we get the obligatory put over with Bischoff moment, and Garrett is put over by Devon. Devon puts him over for eliminating him from the Battle Royal and for making it to the final 4 guys in there. So then he asks Garrett to come out and see how he'll do in one action against him. So match number 3, Devon versus Garrett Bischoff for the TV title. Match goes to no contest when the Robbies come out and they attack both guys, and then Devon and Garrett just quickly dispose of the 2 Robbies, and that was pretty much it. Not much. The match wasn't much. It wasn't much to this match either. Garrett looked better here than he has probably since he's been on. But like I said, there wasn't much to it. And having Robbie's ENT come out, and then getting taken out by Garrett and Devon was a little on the weak side, I thought. And also, it's like, are there going to be any other guys on the roster to challenge Devon for the TV title? Because it's like, if they do Devon versus Rob Terry or Robbie E all the time, it's going to get beyond stale. More beyond stale than it already is. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's Devon versus one of the Robbies all the time is just going to be so boring. So then we go back to Hulk Hogan in his office with Angle, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. He mentions Kurt Angle's accomplishments about being the gold medalist and this and that and all of those he's won. He mentions that since Jeff has been back, he's been he's been all right. And then Angle was saying that Hulk Hogan should pick him as a challenger. And then eventually, after a little bit, Hogan eliminates Jeff because he says he's not sure if he can really trust him right now. He's been back, he's been all right, but he has a past track record and what have you. So Jeff Hardy is also out of the title hunt. So then now it's down to AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. Hulk Hogan says that he'll decide who gets the title match in the ring. And then Angle tells Hogan that he can get the job done, and Hogan says he knows Angle can. So then we get Billy Ray, or Bubba Ray Dudley, whatever you call him, coming out to the ring. And he does the, do you know who I am, Dick? And then he says that apparently Hulk Hogan must have forgotten who he is since Hogan eliminated him from the title hunt first. Then Ray says that he's in a bad mood, and when he's in a bad mood, he's going to take it out on the fans. Then he mentions that someone had come up to him earlier on in the day and said that Joseph Park was in the arena, and then they showed Joseph Park sitting in the crowd, and Ray said he's tired of seeing him sit there with the fans, so he tells Joseph to come to the ring. The guy, Abyss, in the suit and tie without the mask, reluctantly, comes to ringside over the guardrail. He's standing at ringside. He gets a mic. He says he isn't a fighter or a wrestler, and that he's never been in a real fight. He said that he feels a little bit intimidated by Ray, and that he asked if he could have some space. So then afterward, after a little bit, Joseph reluctantly gets in the ring and says that all he ever wanted was some answers about his brother Chris Abyss disappearing. Then he mentions that during his investigation, all the clues and all the facts of Abyss's disappearance pointed to Brother Ray Dudley. So then Joseph said that he's represented a lot of defendants over the years, and by doing that he can tell by looking into the defendant's eyes if they're guilty or not. So then the fans chant guilty at Ray, and then Joseph Park, whatever his name, plays off of it, and he goes, I didn't tell him to say that. Which was good. Yeah. So then, and then he says that he's, luckily for Ray, he's entitled to a fair and speedy trial, and the jury is going to be the fans in the Impact Zone. So they chant guilty, and then Joseph asks the fans, you think he's not guilty? Boo! You think he's guilty? Fans, yay! So then Ray hits Joseph Park in the gut with his chain. Then he attacks him with it some more, and then he picks up the mic, Flopper does, and he says about himself. He goes, "Not guilty." And then he just dropped the mic and walk out. This is really good. Like I said, Ray is one of the best heels in TNA and probably in the whole biz today. And the Joseph Park character has actually gotten better. I'm actually starting to get into it now. So this was a good segment here. Both guys cut the promos here, I thought. So then in addition to tonight being this show being Open Fight Night, it's also Gut Check Night, where a talent outside the TNA roster can have a match. Will have a match with a wrestler, and then next week the judges will determine whether or not he gets a contract. Now, before I get into that, one of the judges is Ric Flair, and he and TNA have kind of been on the outs lately, so he might not be around much longer. So hopefully, Mr. Woo! I'm God, two-time Hall of Famer, woo woo, won't be around anymore because I'm so sick of him. So we're just gonna. I guess we're gonna have Bitter Al and Blood of Love will be the judges or whatever. Okay, whatever. So they go to the Joey Ryan video package. He's the guy who's going to be in the Gut Check match later, and he talks about that he's always been a wrestling fan, and that it's always been in his heart forever, and it's been in his blood, and it's always ever wanted to do. I thought it was a really good video as a way to get the guy over. So then we go to the ring. Jeremy Borash is in there with Bitter Al Snow. I call him Bitter because he always looks like he's got a bug up his fucking ass. So whatever. So JB's in there with Joey Ryan and Al Snow, and JB just talks about the Gut Check challenge and mentions what'll happen. He says that Al and the other judges will decide if Joey Ryan gets the TNA contract. And Borash asks him if he's ready. Ryan says, yeah, let's do this. And then they bring out his opponent, Austin Aries, and then so we get Austin Aries versus Joey Ryan. This match was really good, I thought. I think, good back and forth spots here. Austin Aries won with the Brainbuster. So I guess, we'll see live next week whether or not Joey Ryan gets a TNA contract. So then, now it's time for the top 10 moments in TNA history, being that we're approaching 10 years of TNA. And they show one of the not-so-great moments, the Hulk Hogan Sting match from last October's Bound for Glory. And that was really, that was idiotic when it happened. So I don't know why the hell they're showing this as a top 10 moment. I mean, they're showing it because it's Hulk Hogan, brother. He's got to be in the top 10 moments, dude. But it's just like, show some better stuff. Like the three-way X Division match from Unbreakable 2005. That is TNA's best match ever, and that definitely belongs in there. Definitely ahead of Sting Hogan and Bound for Glory, the match that wasn't a match, and the Hulk Hogan doing the whole Darth Vader babyface turn, while Sting is got the Joker face paint doing Luke Skywalker bit, so he got to play both characters. The Mark Hamill play. For those of us who don't know, on the Batman animated series, Mark Hamill did the voice of the Joker. Okay, so sorry to go off on that. back to the show. So then we get Bobby Roode. He comes out, to find out who he'll be defending the title against next. Then, AJ comes out, Kurt Angle comes out, and then finally, brother, my daughter's gonna be out next week. That's not what he said, but he comes out, on the stage, pyro and all, big deal every time Hulk Hogan comes out. So then Hogan says, he felt that this would be one of the hardest decisions he'd have to make, and he says that no matter who he picks, whether it be AJ or Kurt Angle to challenge Bobby Roode next, he can't make a wrong decision. So then he puts over both guys, and then Hulk says that because AJ Styles knows Roode better than anybody in TNA, he gets the title match. So, and then Angle kind of like that, I guess he kind of nods to it. He gets a nod of approval from Kurt Angle, and then he walks out. So, main event match, AJ Styles versus Bobby Roode for the TNA World title. Awesome back and forth match here. This was really good. There was a lot of near falls and the like and what have you. A lot of good stuff, like countering and everything and this and that. Roode eventually got the pin with the I believe, perfect plex. And it was a really tremendous match. So then, as the match was going on, Hulk Hogan was watching in the production truck, and then some guy shows up and tells him that his guests arrived. So that happened during the match. And then, after AJ Styles lost, Kazarian and Daniels show up on the stage and just taunt AJ for losing the Roode. So then, afterwards, Roode brags about, how he's officially made TNA history. He's the longest reigning champion in TNA history. He says it's time to celebrate. He asks for the champagne, and he gets the bottle and the glass, and he says he wants a second glass because he wants Hulk Hogan to come out and celebrate the celebration of domination with him. So he's saying that the celebration should take place with Hulk Hogan also. So then Roode says that, Hogan doesn't come out, and Roode says that's okay, he can celebrate by himself, and then he tells the guys calls for his confetti to come down from the ceiling. And then we get all this crazy confetti coming down, and then Bobby Roode just like all ecstatic and just kind of like swimming in the confetti and everything, just like and then So he was good. He was good at doing that. He was good in that. Like I said, Bobby Roode's been a great heel champion. So we'll, and he's not officially the longest reigning champion in TNA history. So we'll see what happens. So then Hulk Hogan comes out again, and he said that he had the deck completely stacked against Roode. He thought for sure he was going to lose the title or whatever. Hogan says he never realized how good Bobby Roode really is. So, and then Roode gives Hogan the champagne glass. Roode drinks out of the bottle. And then Hogan says that, he's glad Roode asked him to come out. He congratulates him on being the champion, for being the longest champion. He says that he's got, Roode has his respect and everything. Then, Hulk tells him that, it's like, you worked hard, but now the work is going to, the hard work is just begun. And Hogan says that there's another guy, someone who also wants to celebrate with Roode. Lights go out, they come back on. Sting is in the ring. Bobby Roode's got his back turned, and then when he turns around, Sting clotheslines him. He attacks him. He goes after him. He clotheslines him out of the ring eventually. And then afterwards, as Roode is on the ramp, like right in the front of the ramp, Hulk Hogan he announces that Impact will be moving to 8 o'clock starting next week. And the match that will open the live 8 o'clock Impact show next Thursday will be Sting versus Bobby Roode in a lumberjack match, brother. So that's going to be your first live Impact match next week. So Roode is on his knees and at the front of the ramp, all flipping up and like while Hogan and Sting are celebrating in the ring, and that was the show. Like I say, good show overall. AJ Styles and Bobby Roode, outstanding match. I loved it. It was just really, really good hard-fought match there. Austin Aries and Joey Ryan had a good match too. Like I say, and Bobby Roode and Bubba Ray Dudley are both like really tremendous heels. The whole thing with Bubba and Joseph Park or whatever you want to call him, that was good stuff too. Those guys are really good. Bubba Ray is a tremendous heel. I really enjoy the character. Eric Young, And that stuff, it was typical goofy Eric Young comedy, but, you know, I ain't really gonna go ahead. One of the few weak things on the show. You know, RVD Gunner was good but short. Devon Garrett wasn't too much. So that's pretty much it. You know, like I say, you know, that'll do it now. And by the way, I got a chance to watch SmackDown earlier today, so I'll be back in a little bit with a SmackDown post SmackDown video. So this way I can do it now and won't have to worry about getting it in on the weekend. So until I guess in just a little bit. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. You know, you can comment as you see fit, add me as a contact, and visit tonyviz.blogspot.com, my blog website where I give the in-depth recaps of all the shows. So until just a bit, I'll be back in a bit with my SmackDown post-game show. This is Tony Viz, aka Yo the Tone. Take care, everybody, and I'll be back with my SmackDown thoughts.